Today we're reading Acts 15, verses 36 through 41. And some days after, Paul said unto Barnabas, Let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of the Lord, and see how they do. And Barnabas determined to take with them John, whose surname was Mark. But Paul thought not good to take him with them, who departed from them from Pamphylia, and went not with them to the work. And the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder one from the other. And so Barnabas took Mark and sailed into Cyprus. And Paul chose Silas and departed, being recommended by the brethren unto the grace of God. And he went through Syria and Cilicia, confirming the churches. While today's passage is short, it is as important for us today as it ever has been. Paul and Barnabas, two leaders in the church, have a disagreement that they can only resolve by going their separate ways. The problem starts when Paul suggests to Barnabas that they make another missionary journey, going back through the cities that they had visited to encourage the churches that had started there. Barnabas seems to be in agreement about the trip, as he suggests they take John Mark with them. John Mark was his nephew, and Barnabas apparently was wanting to encourage him and help him grow in his ministry opportunities. Paul, on the other hand, was adamantly against it. Remember back in Acts 13 that John Mark had left them when they were in Pamphylia. We weren't given much information then about why he left, but Paul's reaction here tells us that he saw it as a falling away or an abandonment. Barnabas was more keen to give him a second chance. Paul was not. Verse 39 tells us that the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder one from the other. Barnabas takes John Mark and goes to his home city of Cyprus. Luke doesn't follow their ministry, so we don't hear any more about it. Church history tells us that Barnabas had a good ministry in Cyprus, and that from there the gospel spread throughout North Africa. Paul convinces Silas to go with him, and they set out, with the church's recommendation, to go back and visit those churches, the Gentile churches from Paul and Barnabas' earlier trip. Why is this small story significant? Because it shows us that disagreements will happen, and that how we handle them is what is most important. Notice Paul and Barnabas didn't gather others together to take their side and push to see who was right. They realized their difference was not reconcilable, and they found a way to continue furthering the gospel in spite of their disagreement. Let's be clear. The Bible emphasizes that we're to strive for unity as a body of believers. Psalm 133 says, A song of degrees of David. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Paul even talked about our need to strive for unity in his epistle to the Ephesians, chapter 4. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long-suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. This doesn't mean that we will never disagree. It simply means that we will not let our disagreements affect our service and dedication to Christ. You have people that you disagree with? Love them. Can't see eye to eye on how things should be done? Pray for them. Let's keep our focus on furthering the gospel and handle our differences in a manner that doesn't distract people from who Christ is and from what He's done.